trip to India turned out to be the most intense experience I've ever had. India, Bharat. For me, it is one of the most interesting places in the world. A country with a rich history and millions of stories to tell. But is all that what we see in the Bollywood movies real? Is there always a happy ending, and is everything colorful, vibrant, and I mean, will I find the same India also on my way? To find out, I grabbed my camera, booked the train ticket on the Deccan Odyssey, a train that will take me all the way from Mumbai via Darjeeling in the Himalayas to Kolkata. During this journey, I will dive into the culture, the people, and experiences so intense I would never have expected. I invite you to come with me on one of my most emotional trips I've ever done and find out why India is so different from any other country I've already traveled to. On my way, I stopped in small villages, far away from civilization. Somehow they seem happier than people in the big cities. Traveling allows me to immerse myself in different cultures, traditions, and ways of life. Sometimes it takes me out of my comfort zone, but on the other hand, it rewards me with the opportunity to create unforgettable memories. And meaningful connections with people. People who make your life more colorful. Sometimes the truth lies somewhere in between. I also discovered the darker side of India. Garbage, disease, overpopulation, and there's one place where it all comes together. A place full of contrasts and a place where life meets death. For the first time and after traveling to over 60 countries, I encountered a border that is not made by humans. And it feels bigger than the eternity I knew so far. People come here to escape from the cycle of life and death. They come here to die. Varanasi changed everything. It made me curious, thoughtful, disgusted, happy, sad, and confused. It left a dark veil on my soul. After I filmed that shot, I was totally emotional. It hit me, and I don't know why. I had to put my camera down, and I was very upset and confused, and I couldn't handle it. It was strange, but in a way I felt connected to the woman who had just died and been thrown into the Ganges. Did she have a good life, and was she happy? It took me weeks to understand what this city was trying to tell me. In the face of death, we are all equal. I've learned that death is a part of life, and Varanasi has at least taken away some of my fear of it. Thanks, India, for all the experiences I had along the way. Even if not everything was like in a Bollywood movie. But on the other hand, I asked myself, would we see all the beauty without the shadows? It was the real India that I found. Realness and truth are not always what we expect them to be. But we can always learn from them. We just have to open ourselves up to it. Leaving our comfort zone and traveling, getting in contact with people, opening our hearts and minds, and learning what life is all about.
Hey guys, it's me, Dennis, and I want to say thank you for watching this movie until the end. It was a very personal project, and it was the first time for me being in front of the camera and also doing the voiceover. So it's a very personal project, and I'm so glad that you made it until the end, because now I want to share some insights with you, and I just want to talk a little bit about the movie you just saw. This was by far one of my most personal and emotional films, I would say. I struggled a lot, wondering if I should give it to a native speaker to make it more professional instead of doing it myself in my imperfect English. But in the end, I decided to do it myself because I'm sharing my feelings, and why should anyone else do the voiceover? I hope that gives the film a personal touch, and for me it was a big step out of my comfort zone, to be honest. I mean, the whole trip was a huge step out of my comfort zone. And I expected that exploring India, especially Varanasi, will be very tough. Of course, I did some research and all that stuff, but I didn't think it would be so overwhelming. It took me, I would say, more than a month to recover my mental spirit from this journey. And I already saw a lot of countries, but this was my first culture shock. And Varanasi left a dark veil on my soul, I already told you in the movie. And it made me very thoughtful. Editing this movie helps me a lot to process all the images and process all the impressions from Varanasi and my India trip. And it was a kind of a self-therapy. And I had a lot of impressions. I mean, it was not only Varanasi, it was a train trip from Mumbai all the way to the Himalayas, and then also to the other side of India, to the eastern part. So it was a very, very long trip, and so many impressions only in 2 weeks. And that was only possible because I took the train. And it was not a normal regular train, it was a tourist train, it was the Deccan Odyssey. And I was there for a travel agency from Germany, it's a client of mine. But this film has nothing to do with the client work. It's a personal story, and I wanted to tell a story different from the work I do for tourism. So I showed also the good things, but on the other hand also the bad things. And that's the important thing about filmmaking, right? Showing the contrasts, not only one perspective, because in tourism you always show the good sides, but you never speak about the dark sides. And that's what I want to tell. I want to tell the story about India And of course there's a Bollywood side, of course there's a colorful and beautiful world, but on the other hand there's a lot of bad things. And I really like contrasts, because contrasts are good for storytelling, good for images, and it's also good for the dynamic. And I already told you in my previous movie that there couldn't be light without shadows. And that's the point. For a good story I need shadows and lights, and put them together in a story, and that's what I try to do also in this movie. I also brought a much bigger camera than usual, so that makes it also a bit more complicated. I filmed everything with the brand new Sony Burano Cinema camera, which is much bigger than the camera I usually use. And this camera is a beast. I filmed everything in X-OCN LT. This is Sony's compressed RAW format. And with this format you can film in 8.6K, in 24 frames per second, and in 16-bit. It was nice. I don't need it for every shot, but it was nice to play around a little bit. And I have to say that I really like the 16-bit, because when it comes to color grading, there are no borders anymore. You can go crazy with your colors because you have so many informations. And it was really cool. It was really cool to have this camera and play around, filming in 8K and having all these options. And when we speak about color grading, if you like the teal and orange look from this film, check out the link in the video description. There you can find my new LUT package from India, 20 different LUTs with different exposures. Feel free to check it out, link is in the description. And the last story about this camera, it was quite funny, because when I arrived in Mumbai, I visited the Bollywood studios to get some shots of the Bollywood dancers and the studios. You can see these shots at the beginning of the video. And all the DOPs from Bollywood, they were super excited about my camera, because the Burano was actually not out during this time, especially not in India. So everybody wanted to touch the camera and get hands on. So I was the star in Bollywood, and that was quite funny. So they used to these big cameras and they already heard about the Burano, but it was the first time that it was there in real life, and it was not a famous Bollywood DOP, it was me from Germany who brought the camera there for a few hours at least. That was funny. Because of the big camera setup, I decided to minimize my setup a little bit. I shot everything handheld, I didn't bring any gimbals or tripods, and I used just 4 lenses. I mean, it's still a lot, but we also tried to film the tiger in India, so I had to bring at least a telephoto lens for this shot. We didn't find him at the end, but you know how it is. You bring everything and at the end you just need half of it. Anyway, do you want to see more of this stuff in the future, or should I go back to regular travel films? I really like this format, but I also want to hear your voice. I want to include you in my journey. I hope that the film has inspired you a little bit and inspired you also to step out of your comfort zone, to filter the positive out of any negative experiences, and most importantly, to learn from other cultures instead of judging them. Because this is more important than ever. Right now, we have so many conflicts all over the world, and we should show more respect for each other. Every culture has a voice, and we can always learn something from it. For me, it was strange to going to Varanasi, but at the end, I learned a lot, and I was thinking, okay, what was the good thing about all that weird stuff? It was only weird for me, but thinking about it and filter all these things out, it gives me a new idea of a new culture, and I could just use the things that I liked from this journey for my personal experience. And I think this is the key. Don't judge any other cultures. Think about it, speak with people, get in contact with them, and filter out these things that can help you to improve yourself, to get a better person. And that's what I did in India. I learned a lot, especially about death. I still cannot speak this TH thing, it makes me crazy, but you know what I mean. Anyway, thanks for being still here, and thanks for listening to all my words. This was probably not the last trip to India. I'm already planning new things because I met so many great people there. I heard so many amazing stories. I heard about so many festivals and things going on there, so I will come back for sure. I have so many ideas also for other countries, and there are so many stories on the streets in every country all over the world. So this is not the end, it's just the beginning, and I really appreciate that you're still here. Thank you so much, guys. Namaste, subscribe, leave a comment, and see you soon. Bye bye.